All right. So I think this morning to get things kicked off is going to be Tammy. So we want to introduce Tammy White. She is one of the deputy state examiners. Tammy, you want to get us started?
How's the prayer?
Oh, I forgot about the prayer.
Hold on 1 second, Tammy.
I'm sorry, Tammy. I forgot about the prayer.
We got Bill all lined up and then...
Where's he at? Okay, Bill. Can you hear us?
Yes.
You want to do the prayer for us?
Yes. Everybody, would you pray with me, please? Our Father God, we thank you that though we are separated by miles, we can be united in spirit, and you are with each one of us. We pray blessings on this conference. We pray for our country leaders, our state leaders, and local government. May they serve with integrity and always with best interests at heart. Bless us now as we go through the lessons that have been prepared for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, and I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, thank you, Bill, for the prayer. Prayers are absolutely needed in these trying times. So welcome, everyone, to your virtual conference. Being here like this instead of being live and in person is just one more reminder of how much change we have seen in 2020. Paul is really big on change, so we think in our agency we're kind of used to change, always striving for improvement, always trying to look for that next better way, make sure we're prepared for the future, but no one wished for all of this. And in your wildest dreams, I don't think we thought something like this was going to be so lasting and felt by so many. So it is a time of change, and that requires great leadership. And I really appreciate that all of us are here together, all of you attending in a new way, so that you can help lead your part of this, your troops, so to speak, your team through these times. They're very different, very challenging, and all of our challenges are a little bit different, but certainly appreciate that you're here with us in hopes to learn and put good policies in place. Our thoughts often go to those that we know who are ill, whether it's with COVID-19 or it's with something else that's an underlying condition or something that they're suffering through. And just keeping this compassion in your heart and in your mind is a good reminder that we need to be cognizant of everyone's safety as we try to lead through these times and make our absolute best policies and plans for moving forward. It is also important to balance that with the need to continue operations and do our part and show people the service that they elected all of you to do and that they expect from us. As for this conference, I do hope that you will take this opportunity to think about the basic functions that are necessary and needed in your county and in your communities, including those that are in your office, and think of new ways to perform those services, to deliver what's needed, and to be able to do them anywhere, anytime, so that we can distance, we can work from where we need to be at any given time and deliver the most basic needs to all of those who are counting on us. I'm not going to take much time this morning because watching on video can be a challenge in itself, but I do think you have a great agenda. I hope you stay safe, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay connected. We are much better together.
Sorry. Thank you, Tammy. I was muted. hopefully this morning gets a little bit better for me, technology-wise. But thank you so much. We want to introduce the Deputy State Examiner, Mike Bazinski.
Good morning, everyone. Coming to you live from Hancock County at my kitchen table. And I know as most of us have been working remotely for the majority of the time, that presents challenges. Whether you have young children at home or maybe a spouse sharing your home office with you or kitchen table. In my case, my spouse works at a hospital, so she's been going to work like she does before the pandemic every day. And then all three of our children are grown, but as I told, I think the county recorders a couple weeks ago, our youngest son acquired a kitten about 6 weeks ago. So that's kind of been my, I guess, problem with working remotely. He usually, when I start around 6:30, he gets going and goes real hard for about an hour and a half running across the table, and then he'll sleep for 2 hours. But my son took him to the vet this morning for some elective surgery, so I will not have my companion today, so he will not be running in front of the camera. And I think he'll probably lose a little hop out of his step for a day or two when he returns. So it should be a quiet week for me at my kitchen table. But with that being said, I hope you, your coworkers, and your family and friends are all healthy and staying safe during these unprecedented times. You know, I've always enjoyed our live conferences and the opportunities it has afforded me to speak with you one-on-one or in small groups. Obviously, we can't do that today, but still I welcome talking with you either through WebEx or Microsoft Teams, or even just an old-fashioned phone call if you ever have a concern, or if you, as I've said in the past, just want to call one of us and say, hey, my auditors are great. We really enjoyed having them here this year. As always, thank you for your public service and that of your staff. Now more than ever, your leadership is needed to continue to provide services to your citizens. And you've had to do that in new and innovative ways, oftentimes without your traditional brick and mortar offices. Obviously, none of us hopes we ever go through something like this or similar to this in the future, but I think we're all going to come out of this stronger having experienced this, and you know, the new methods we've created or performed to get the job done. You know, we'll be able to lean on those going forward whenever a crisis does occur. As you know, our agency has been able to continue auditing remotely. We had been doing some remote auditing in recent times, but obviously the pandemic put that up to warp speed. We appreciate your cooperation, flexibility, and support, as these remote audits will obviously not mirror your previous audit. Our technical assistance remains in place during these times. Do not hesitate to call on Lori and Ricky with any of your questions. Our staff continues to research the funding associated with the pandemic and any guidance that comes with it, in order for us to get guidance out to you in a timely manner. And be sure to check the home page of our website that has all kinds of information related to the coronavirus and the funding. In closing, I want to thank Lori and Ricky for their part in putting on this conference. I know it's a lot in addition to their regular duties, and I think this is their third virtual one, so they're getting the hang of it. Each one's probably a little bit better technology-wise, right, ladies? You know, thanks to David Bodorf and his staff at the AIC now more than ever, it is important to stay in touch with your other county officials and share best practices and things that have worked during this pandemic with each other. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell and her staff at the Treasurer's Office for all that they do. And thanks to Tom and the rest of your association officers for their part in putting on this conference. Again, thank you for your public service during these times, and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I am unmuted. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We would like to now welcome AIC's Executive Director, David Botteroff.
Sure. Thanks. Appreciate everybody participating today. I asked Anton Daff, our AIC president, to join us for a few minutes, so I'm going to let him kind of give some welcoming comments, and I'll follow up quickly after he says hello to everybody. So, Anton?
Good morning, everybody, and good luck with your conference today. On behalf of the AIC, we very much appreciate all of your service and your willingness to continue through this COVID crisis with education and professional development. Nothing stops when it comes to county government. We keep going. So this is a good example of how that works for us. We do want to appreciate the board members that are treasurers that serve on our AIC board, and that would be Bill and Tom, and you know, they've been great contributors to the AIC's policies and direction and vision, and we very much appreciate that. We also appreciate the cooperation and partnership with the Treasurers Association as well. A couple brief notes, if I may, which David might have planned on mentioning, but I'm going to go ahead and mention. We obviously will not have an in-person annual conference in September, but we will have a virtual one, and we've got some great things planned for that I think folks will really enjoy and also take a lot from as well. So keep your eyes and ears open for details on that, and some of the videos that we'll put together for that. But again, thank you very much for your service, and I'll let David say a few words as well.
Sure. Thanks, Anton, for calling in. And Anton's been a great president for us this year. He made all 6 of our district meetings that we had in July, and those went really well. You know, I think we followed CDC guidelines as best we could at each location. And the feedback we got were that a lot of the information we shared there was very valuable. I just want to mention to you all quickly, Anton mentioned our conference. And so we'll do our conference a little bit different this year. We're just going to ask the county to pay a flat fee, and it'll be based on population between $300 and $1,000. And that will give every employee access to everything we do at the conference. So it'll be a little bit different. You'll still be able to register individually for workshops at no cost. And then if you want to get credit hours towards, you know, your AIC Institute, we'll be able to do that and apply those credit hours to everybody who's working on their certificates. As Anton mentioned, I think we've got some really clever things we're preparing for the conference, so that registration information will go out. So really only one person in the county will have to sort of register the county once they get authorization. And one thing from working with the State Board of Accounts, Paul Joyce is going to authorize this, that the county will be able to pay out of the county official training fund that one-time county registration fee. So that will really help. I know a lot of you haven't been able to travel much anyway and haven't used much out of that county official training fund, but the fact that that'll be an option for the county to pay for that, we think will make it that much easier on the county. And actually, the fees in that fund are up because of so many people have refinanced because interest rates are low this year. So one of the revenue streams that counties have is actually a little bit higher than anticipated thanks to what's happening out there. But I just want to thank you all for all the surveys you've answered for us. I think Tom's going to send out another one today just as a follow-up. You know, spring collections was much better than we anticipated. And the data that you all supplied to the surveys that Tom sent out were very valuable information for us. And we use it at the State House to let legislators know what's happening, and also share it actually with NACO, the National Association of Counties, who's trying to keep track of what all is happening, you know, throughout the country. So that was really very valuable information, and we'll do a brief follow-up survey today or tomorrow. We'll send out to you all to answer those. But I want to thank Tom for his leadership, and just really appreciate your all's patience and working with us to, you know, do this situation we find ourselves in. And I know some of you, my last comment will just be, some of you may not think you can take advantage of the CARES Act money that's available to the counties, but I would encourage you to look at that program. There might be a way for you to buy new, you know, laptop computers and things like that, so that your employees can work remotely, or just have an upgrade in technology as far as making sure that computers have cameras and microphones, so that you can participate in events like this and other training sessions. So if you have questions about CARES Act money and how your office may be able to use it, you can contact us. At the end of the day, the commissioners have to approve it, but still you could take suggestions to your commissioners about how you could spend that CARES Act money. So with that, I'll turn it back over to State Board of Accounts, who've just been great partners with us through this entire process. I think we've talked more in the last 4 months, you know, than we ever have, and they've been accessible. And Paul Joyce calls in to a meeting we have every week, and we share information about what's happening with the state and with CARES Act money. And so it's just really been a great partnership that has made this a little bit easier situation to deal with. So appreciate all their support. So turn it back over to Lori or Ricky. So.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. We've got Tom Krickenberg, your association president. Tom, do you have anything that you would like to say?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I thank all the treasurers throughout the state for just answering the emails that we sent out, because it seems like we've sent out a lot more this year because of everything that's going on, and we'll probably continue doing the same. I just sent out the question that David just talked about, so please just make sure you include Jackie in your answers. Also, I'll be sending out today, AIC still would like to have Treasurer of the Year, so I will be sending out an email to make sure you guys let Mary in Brown County or Veronica in Franklin County know who you think would be Treasurer of the Year, so the AIC can make sure they recognize that treasurer. So let's everyone have a good conference. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. All right, our next speaker is our Indiana Treasurer of State, the Honorable Kelly Mitchell, who's also joining us virtually today.
Well, good morning. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for including me this morning. It is always a pleasure to talk with all of you. Like just about any other event these days, we would far rather be together in person, but I am very glad that we can connect in a safe and effective way. This is certainly a crazy time that we have found ourselves in. What we thought might be a month or two of inconvenience is slowly becoming a new way of life, it seems. I am really proud of the work that my team has done to adapt and provide the same level of excellent service to our constituents, and I'm sure you all have similar stories to tell. I want to thank you for the care and commitment that you give to your communities and your constituents. You have all risen to meet the unique challenges of our time, and I am, and many others are, grateful for everything that you do. I'll give you a few updates on my office. Of course, I'm Indiana Chief Investment Officer, so we continue to invest the state money during this volatile time, and as always, we keep in mind safety, liquidity, and yield, as much as you do. Our College Choice Savings Program is still growing, which is great news. It is now over $5.2 billion of assets under management. We have almost 400,000 individual accounts. And in the last few years, you have heard me speak about our investment option for Hoosiers living with disabilities. That's InvestAble. Indiana. And in just over 3 years, we have opened almost 700 bagel accounts with over $4 million saved. Both of these programs have found creative ways to continue to reach customers in this new environment so that Hoosiers can still utilize these great resources. Your help, as always, getting the information out to the public is very much appreciated. So thank you for always spreading the word for us. It's also been a busy 2020, as you can imagine, for 911. We had changing call volumes, certainly strains on our 911 call centers and first responders. But because of the forethought the statewide 911 board put into creating a very strong infrastructure for Indiana's call system, any changes that we had to implement were handled swiftly with no interruption to services. And just a shout out to the top innovators of our team, the Indiana Bond Bank, which I certainly hope you're all familiar with. They very quickly reacted to the challenges presented by the coronavirus and adapted an existing program to address current cash flow needs that are arising within local government units. I am really proud of each and every one of my team members for creatively and consistently setting ever higher standards of service. I know many of you are familiar with our public funds management seminars. As you can imagine, of course, we have had to reimagine and adapt our typical seminar platform. I am excited to announce that on September 1st and 4th, my team will be providing the seminars virtually to all of you, free of charge as always. You can review the agenda for the seminar and register for one of those dates by visiting Trust Indiana's website at trustindiana.in.gov. I know that Cindy, who I know most of you know well, she is our Executive Director of Trust Indiana, and she'll be with you later on in this conference. I'll let her speak to the exciting happenings that is going on with Trust Indiana. So again, as always, it's been an honor to speak with you this morning and a refreshing moment of somewhat normalcy to connect with so many of my dear friends. Please never hesitate to reach out to me or to my office if we can be of any assistance to you or your community. I know this has been a difficult year, but the true character of Hoosiers is shining through. And as we work together to help one another and solve challenges, we're creating memories that we will look back on with pride and a sense of accomplishment. So hang in there, everyone. Stay safe, stay well. God bless.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time out today to speak with everyone. I know that they all appreciate it as well. So thank you. Okay. Well, we switched things around a little bit, and so I think Paul's on here. I want to introduce our state examiner, Paul Joyce, to say some, to kind of finish up our welcoming. Here is.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate all of you showing up today and going with us through this virtual conference. I really appreciate the format Debbie Ricky came up with to kind of spread it out over 3 different days and a couple hours a day. I think at the end you'll appreciate it as well. I unfortunately had the pleasure of sitting through a conference recently that was like 3 full days in a row. And a virtual conference 3 full days in a row is a little much. And so I think this is maybe one of the first times we tried to spread it out over the days. So we'll really be interested to know how you perceive this presentation being spread out over the different days. You know, I have had the opportunity, and I do call it a pleasure, and I really appreciate the effort that AIC and David has did through this entire pandemic to work with, give me the opportunity to work with the counties along with the AIC to try to, feel our way in the dark as we go through this whole process. And sometimes it does feel like that's what we're all doing, is feeling our way through the dark and wondering what's on the other side of that wall or what's going to come tomorrow. And, the experiences that different people have felt and went through since the beginning of March until now throughout the state of Indiana has been extremely broad, from where you live up here around Indianapolis to some of the rules. We're in a total, when we started out, really total lockdown. And, you know, when I go visit my mom, which is down in Vincennes, they weren't quite in a total lockdown. I'm sure not even sure that they knew there was a pandemic going on. And it was that kind of a switch that goes on and off, which is fully understandable, because at that time when, you know, the first couple months went out, Knox County had 5 cases, and, you know, at the time they were having 5, 10, 15 cases. Hendricks County up here where I live, I mean, we had 100 deaths. So, you know, there's a vast difference of rural Indiana and the areas up here around Indianapolis or South Bend and Fort Wayne and sometimes even down around Evansville. So, you know, we really appreciate the flexibility everybody's had and the work and the efforts that everybody has given toward this effort. And like I say, working with that group, which is, I believe, you know, a lot of the AIC officers, and it's really a broad spectrum of people that work with the counties, and that was a really good light on how it's affecting the different offices. But as David did mention, and I will also encourage, you know, to use or to talk with your commissioners about using the COVID money to move your office to be able to work in that virtual world. As we say, when we're working through the dark, we don't know what's coming tomorrow. And of course, you know, we don't know what's coming in November when, you know, tax collections are going to be coming in and counties need the money. So, you know, we want to be looking forward and making sure we're laying plans to be able to work in that virtual world. And that is the direction that I've given my staff, is to make sure we're working toward that virtual world. So if things continue, whatever one you want to look at it at, worse, where it does start limiting the ability for people to move around or do something, that we are making strides and we're making efforts to create new avenues for people to do business with the counties. And at the end of the day, what we really want is that counties can perform their operations under any circumstance. And that is not where we were when we started with any of our forms of government. So, you know, a lot of people are getting a lot better. We got a crash course in it. But as you know, they keep talking about second wave coming around November, December, around the flu season. And the reason I'm late this morning, I was in to see the doctor, just a normal checkup, happily. But we talked to her a little bit about the flu shot, you know, and she said, normally you get that around in, you know, second week of October, because, you know, November, December is when the flu season really comes up. And there's going to be, they're talking, you know, about the convergence between the flu and the COVID as far as the symptoms being very similar. So there's going to be a lot of panic, a lot of people not coming to work, a lot of people that are coming into your places of business that probably will seem sick, and you're going to be a lot concerned about that. So, you know, there's a lot that you can do to prepare your offices for it. You know, I've talked to people about putting barriers up, you know, make sure we have windows and glasses, you know, between the public and you guys. These are all the things we really want to be working on today to prepare for what might come tomorrow. Let's hope we prepare for nothing. That would be the best case scenario. But yet prepare for the worst. So, yeah, I want to encourage everybody to continue working toward efforts that can make your offices succeed. And, you know, through the entire thing, I'm here, our staff is here, Ricky, Lori, Debbie, our entire staff want to help you succeed. Please use us as much as you can. I know David's there to help you succeed. They're there all the time. At the end of the day, you know, I don't want any of us to fail. So please do use us. I thank everybody for participating today. And hopefully you will be able to gather enough in the next 3 days that can, even if it's just giving you the comfort level to call Ricky or Lori and ask them a question, please do that. So I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.